You're listening to the Chad Hasty Show on demand. Good for you. Now download the KFYO app and listen live weekday afternoons 5 to 7 p.m. Central.
Broadcasting from the great state of Texas, this is the Chad Hasty Show. News and views with a Lone Star perspective. You can sound off during the show by sending Chad a text at 806-680-2790. That's 806-680-2790. Or call in at 1-800-687-0790. Now, here's Chad Hasty.
Good evening, Lubbock, Amarillo, Abilene, Wichita Falls, Midland, Odessa, Dallas, Fort Worth. Down in Houston, over in El Paso, and anywhere else, inside or outside the great state of Texas, wherever you may be listening on this Wednesday evening. Welcome in to the Chad Hasty Show. Glad to have you with us today. So much to talk about. Looking forward to hearing from you on a wide range of issues. We've got some national news to get into. Is Donald Trump really praising BLM? We'll talk about that. A little bit of a controversy out there today. Also, Ron DeSantis getting ready to do battle with Gavin Newsom tomorrow in a debate that I don't know how many people will actually watch. I'll watch because I'm a political nerd. But outside of political nerds, I'm not sure how many people will be watching or caring about the Ron DeSantis Gavin Newsom debate. We'll talk about that on the program today. Some of the new latest news stories on that one we'll get to. Lower speed limits coming to some Texas highways, and we'll also have your spotlight on Texas business coming up at 5:35 this evening. Have quite a bit of statewide business news out there. And one big business news when it comes to Mark Cuban and the Dallas Mavericks. Story that actually came out, broke late yesterday evening as we were on the air and wrapping up the show. And we have more details today, obviously, about not the complete sale of the Dallas Mavericks, but a large stake in the Dallas Mavericks being sold. So we've got all of that to get to on the program today. And yes, it does tie into Texas politics with the Dallas Mavericks. So see, sports and politics sometimes, yes, you can't get away from each other. So we've got all of that to get into on the show today. We want to hear from you. You can text in at 806-680-2790. That's 806-680-2790. When you do text in, let us know who you are, where you're listening from, so we can give you a nice little shout out whenever you text in. You can also call in at 1-800-687-0790. That's 1-800-687-0790. Find me on social media, the X, at Chad Hasty Radio. And don't forget, you can also follow along on the podcast, the Chad Hasty Show podcast, available anywhere you download your podcast from. And you can also download the Current in Cask podcast I'm on with Matt Martin. We used to do a radio show together. Now we do a podcast together where we talk current events and sports, technology, and we review whiskey as well. Delicious whiskey. So we've got all that to get into on the program today. And we also ask you this running topic today. What is something that you just really love, really enjoy learning more about? Like, not something that's a chore to learn about, not something you feel like you have to learn about, but something you really enjoy. You don't mind getting into the rabbit hole on either YouTube or in a good book, and you just you do a little bit more learning on the subject. What is something that you just really enjoy learning more about? You can text it at 806-680-2790, 1-800-687-0790. That's the phone number where you can weigh in on. And by the way, Nick, the first voice you hear from when you dial in today, I asked through this topic and Nick earlier. And Nick, you said the brain, the human brain, is something that you enjoy learning more about. Now, this isn't in like a creepy mass murdering type of way or anything like that. This is you like learning how some of people are connected in a way, right?
Right. You saying this is not a creepy way, immediately made me think I have like a secret laboratory with a brain on a pedestal, and I've got little.
I go back to the movie Hannibal, and
maybe this whole time I collect human brains, maybe.
Yeah,
in my spare time, and I like to. I don't know if I eat them, but I if that were to occur, I think I would be more interested in how they work, because that was what I brought up. Is I don't know. I'm just fascinated with the similarities and differences among complete strangers.
Yeah.
Everybody has a brain.
Yeah. Well,
everyone has a brain.
That's true.
Whether they use it to their benefit or not, everyone has one. And I know, especially in speech patterns and when people communicate with each other, sometimes there's similarities, and I think that's fascinating. Also, dreams is another thing I brought up.
Yeah.
I
like
love
dreams. You like dreams.
I like sleeping. Therefore, I like dreaming most of the time.
So do you like get into a rabbit hole type deal?
Yes.
Like, do you watch a lot of videos on these subjects?
So I don't actually. Rarely do I watch videos about it. I mean, if it pops up, then sure, I'll probably sit and consume that type of media. But usually, I'll just be scrolling and I'll read something, and I'm like, there's no way that's true.
Yeah,
there's no way. Only 10% of our brains, no way. Yeah. So then I go ahead and I'm like, wow, fascinating.
Very good.
Yeah,
very good. Let's see. First, texture writing computer code is something they love learning more and more about. You can text in 806-680-2790. That's 806-680-2790. Federal Appeals Court questioning Texas' new school library regulations. One of the big stories of the day. This from the Texas Tribune. Federal appellate judges Wednesday questioned the new Texas law requiring booksellers to rate the explicitness and relevance of sexual references in materials that they sell to schools, though it's not clear if the court would allow the regulations to stand. The Fifth U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals inquiries centered on House Bill 900's definitions of sexual content and community standards. They came during a hearing in a legal challenge brought by book vendors who argue the law is unconstitutionally broad and vague. The law seeks to keep so-called sexually explicit books off library shelves in the state's more than 1,200 school systems by calling for the creation of a new library standard. It requires school library vendors to assign ratings to books and materials based on the presence of sex depictions or references. It compels vendors to recall materials already in circulation that are deemed sexually explicit. A federal judge barred Texas from enforcing the law back in August, but a panel of the Fifth Circuit judges blocked that order in the full appellate court, one of the most conservative in the nation, now considering the overall legal challenge. It's not clear when the appellate court will issue a ruling after Wednesday's hearing. A lawyer for Texas said Texas' new law simply protects parents' rights to decide what materials their children will read in a public school library. Said Caitlin R. Jackson, a lawyer for Texas. It promotes the state's interest in preventing those very same school children from being exposed to harmful, sexually explicit material at taxpayer expense. Law being challenged by bookshops in Houston and Austin. The American Booksellers Association and the Association of American Publishers and the Authors Guild, they argue that HB 900 violates their constitutional rights for a myriad of reasons, and it's logistically impossible and cost prohibitive to comply with. Now, how is it unconstitutional and cost prohibitive to say, yes, this has a lot of sexually explicit material in it? Laura Lee Prather, lawyer for the plaintiffs, told judges Wednesday the law would compel booksellers to apply imprecise standards to promote the state's preferred message. Well, come out with an outline of what the sexually explicit material would be included in the book, and say, yes, it has this, yes, it has this, no, it doesn't have this. We think that this book is recommended for kids this age and older. It's amazing how this can apply towards video games. The video game industry can do this, the movie industry can do this, but all of a sudden, when you get to the books and the authors out there, that they've got a problem with it all of a sudden. Now, again, we're not talking about this being applied in bookshops or Barnes and Noble locations or on Amazon. This is only for school libraries. That's it. That's about it. 806-680-2790. Some text messages coming in. I enjoy learning more about history, the medieval age. Also, infectious diseases are also quite interesting. Another texter, LOL, quote, young Frankenstein, whose brain did you get? Abby who? Abby normal. Let's see another texter. He's Nick. Has Nick started the ugly Christmas sweater thing yet? No, he has not. He has not started the ugly Christmas sweater deal, which I think he's supposed to wear an ugly Christmas sweater by the end of the week, so that way we could get a picture and send it out on the Chad Hasty Show Christmas card that we send to all the other radio show hosts around the country. That's it's kind of one of the secrets of the industry. We all send out our own little Christmas cards just to the producers, and we send them out. It's kind of awkward, but we send those out, and we send them, we'll send one to Michael Berry, and that'll be interesting. We had, that'll be something I'm sure he'll bring up when we send the ugly Christmas sweater card of Nick to Barry. That'll be something that will be fun to watch for. 806-680-2790. You can call in 1-800-687-0790. Chad Hasty Show. We'll be right back.
The Chad Hasty Show can be heard all over West Texas, weekdays from 5 to 7 p.m. Tune in on News Talk 95.1 and 790 KFYO in Lubbock, News Talk 940 in Amarillo, News Talk 94.7 and 1470 KYYW in Abilene, and in Wichita Falls on News Talk 96.3 and 1290. The Chad Hasty Show. Make it a part of your drive home, weekdays from 5 to 7 p.m.
Clay Travis and Buck Sexton. Thursday edition Clay Travis Buck Sexton Show will break down the upcoming Gavin Newsom versus Ron DeSantis debate on Fox News. What do we expect to hear? Plus, continued fallout of the hostage release in Israel, and what in the world is going to end up happening with the Republican primary as we sit 1 month away. That'll be the Thursday edition, Clay and Buck.
Clay Travis and Buck Sexton, tomorrow morning at 11.
Williams-Bright, tune in tire.
Media outlet for election 2024. News Talk 95.1 and 790 KFYO and KFYO.com.
Welcome back. Chad Hasty Show. Appreciate you being out there today. You can send in your thoughts on the text line, 806-680-2790. All right, let's see here. This from the Hill. Ron DeSantis knocking Trump over the Black Lives Matter leader's endorsement. It's sort of a quote-unquote BLM endorsement. Republican presidential candidate Ron DeSantis knocking former President Donald Trump after he earned an endorsement from BLM activist Mark Fisher. Quote, BLM praising Donald Trump and Trump celebrating it makes perfect sense, DeSantis posted on X. The Florida governor was responding to a post from former President Donald Trump, who said that he was honored to receive Fisher and the group's support. In his post, Trump claimed that he did more for black people than any other president, with Lincoln in parentheses and a question mark. Fisher, the senior director of BLM in Rhode Island, endorsed Trump on Tuesday because he said he thinks everybody else sucks. But I like Trump, personally. I think right now who we have sitting in the Oval Office is a deep disappointment, Fisher said in an interview posted online. DeSantis took to X to post Trump's remarks, saying that he took action as governor, called up the National Guard during the 2020 BLM movement. Quote, when BLM was burning down cities and assaulting police officers in cities across the country, Trump did nothing but sit in the White House and tweet law and order. We did it differently in Florida. I didn't just tweet, DeSantis posted. DeSantis criticizing Trump's response to the nationwide protests that followed after the George Floyd death, said that when he is elected president, he will not sit idly by and watch rioters torch American cities. Now, Black Lives Matter, the official organization, a quote-unquote official organization, came out and said that this Fisher guy doesn't speak for the entire Black Lives Matter organization. Remember, the BLM movement, they've embraced the Hamas and the terrorist attack on Israel and have sided with the Hamas terrorist. This Robert Fisher guy, Mark Fisher, apparently he heads up the Black Lives Matter organization there in Rhode Island, senior director there in Rhode Island. The idea that Trump is embracing Black Lives Matter, I don't think that he's embracing BLM. I think he's doing a couple of things here. One, I think he's saying, hey, thanks to this Mark Fisher guy, while also getting in a jab and kind of twisting the BLM movement here. And if anything, maybe it fractures the BLM movement in the BLM apparatus, where you have some of the folks in the organization who may say, wait a minute, Trump did do more than Joe Biden. There have been numerous articles that have come out about the black vote slipping from Joe Biden. And with Trump posting, it's an honor to have the group's support, I don't think that he's meaning meaning that in the way that Ron DeSantis and some other Republicans that I've seen on social media, I don't think he's meaning that in the way that they are taking it. I don't think Donald Trump is all of a sudden a proponent of the burn it down, we're going to burn the cities down BLM movement. I think Donald Trump knows that within the Black Lives Matter movement, within the African American community, within the black community, guess what? There are Republicans. There are some folks who support Donald Trump. There are some folks who are black who support Republicans. And I think by posting the statement that he did, knowing that it would get covered by the news media, I think what Trump's hoping for is that the crazy leaders within BLM will show how crazy they are, come out with all these asinine statements about how Trump is a racist and a bigot and did nothing for the black community. Meanwhile, Trump can point to the actual numbers and the facts that are out there. So I get it. I get what Ron DeSantis is doing here. I get what some of the other Republicans are doing by going, uh-oh, wait a minute, this isn't good for Trump. I think it's a different game being played by Trump on that one. He's not embracing everybody within the BLM movement. He's not embracing the crazies within the BLM movement. He's embracing a guy who said, you know what? Trump did a good job. Trump did a good job as president. And I think Trump's going to run with that and have a little bit of fun with it. And I think that's what you saw today. 806-680-2790. When we come back, your spotlight on Texas business brought to you by Texas Mutual Insurance. We'll be right back. Chad Hasty's Spotlight on Texas Business every Wednesday afternoon from 5 to 7 p.m. Brought to you by Texas Mutual Insurance. Texas safe, Texas strong.
A message from Texas Tech head football coach Joey McGuire.
Hey, Red Raiders. Join us helping families at the Ronald McDonald House. We need your pledge, a dollar amount for every sack.
Donate or pledge at pledgesackwin.com and watch the Red Raiders sack the quarterback and help the kids.
We'll do our part by taking down the opponent's quarterback, but we need you and we need your pledge. Wreck 'em. Let's go.
I'm Ryan Seacrest. First responders are people who stand for a greater purpose. They will be there for you when nobody else is, to help you, your family, your community. This is their selfless promise. This is their sworn duty to protect, to serve, to help. When you call 911, first responders show up now. Let's show up for the people who show up for us every day and every night.
Go to firstrcf.org and make a difference today.
News sponsored by Value Care Insurance.
5.1 and 790 KFYO. You're listening to The Chad Hasty Show.
All right, so welcome back to The Chad Hasty Show. It's your time for your spotlight on Texas business, brought to you by Texas Mutual, TexasMutual.com, Texas safe, Texas strong, TexasMutual.com. Let's see, a couple of different stories out there that we'll get to as far as the spotlight on Texas business goes. Texans overall, so the Dallas Morning News, Texans throttle holiday spending as retailers put hopes on the next 4 weeks. Shoppers in Texas haven't been spending like they did heading into the holiday season, and retailers know it. Retailers operating in Texas, second largest state economy behind California, told Federal Reserve Bank of Dallas that sales declined in November right up against Thanksgiving compared with October. The weakness showing up in other measures such as sales tax collections, which declined 0.3% in October from a year ago. That, according to the Texas Comptroller, it was the first time in 31 months or since the pandemic ended that monthly state, or at least the pandemic restrictions ended, that monthly state sales tax collections failed to grow on an annual basis, said Glenn Hager. October receipts from home improvement centers and furniture stores also dropped sharply from a year ago, also down significantly were tax collections from electronics and appliance stores, big box general merchandise department stores, and clothing stores. So we are, a lot of people may have been shopping. That's what we heard yesterday. A lot of people were shopping. Not a lot of people are buying. And a lot of people are tightening their belts. Thank you, Bidenomics. U.S. sales forecast for the holiday season already tepid, with the forecast combined for November and December retail sales to increase 3 to 4%. According to the National Retail Federation, spending plans up about 2% in Dallas-Fort Worth, according to a local consumer survey. Silver lining, last year's holiday spending was strong, so just slightly besting a great year isn't too awful. U.S. shopper turnout online, stores hit a high of 200.4 million over the 5-day weekend. And stores were out, or crowds were out in full force at local malls on Black Friday, but seemed to be there more for the holiday ambiance than buying what was on sale. So that from the Dallas Morning News. Sources say the Mark Cuban nearing the sale of the large stake in the Dallas Mavericks. So it's going to be a big, big story. The Adelson family has advanced discussions about buying a significant chunk of the Dallas Mavericks. Mark Cuban would remain governor of the franchise and in control of all basketball decisions. According to sources, the agreement would be in the valuation range of $3.5 billion. Take weeks for the league to process. According to an SEC filing, Adelson family selling almost $2 billion in stock in the Las Vegas Sands Corp. If that sounds familiar, the Las Vegas Sands, they're the ones pushing gambling in Texas. And yes, the two are connected. The owner of the Dallas Mavericks, Mark Cuban, has been pushing for the state of Texas to legalize casino gambling. What Cuban wants to do is partner with the Las Vegas Sands, and he has said this numerous times, build a huge resort casino with a brand new arena right in the middle of it. So you would have this destination resort casino, and the Dallas Mavericks brand new arena would be right in the middle of it all. But according to ESPN and the Associated Press, the agreement is in place for the casino mogul to buy the Dallas Mavericks. Again, they would own over 50% of the Dallas Mavericks. They would be able to acquire at least 57% of the NBA team based on the $3.5 billion valuation. The group, led by Miriam Elson and her son-in-law, company president Patrick DeMont, has previously had discussions with Cuban about building a casino entertainment district in Dallas that would include a new arena for the Mavericks. Those plans would require gambling to become legal in Texas, for which Cuban has lobbied state politicians. He hasn't done a very good job, by the way. Cuban, who's 65, has owned the Mavericks since the year 2000, when he purchased a majority share of the franchise for just $285 million. So he's making a good chunk of change off of selling 50% of the 57% of the Mavericks. He recently announced he was also leaving the popular business TV program Shark Tank after its 16th season next year. So Cuban pulling back a little bit. I think at some point he'll probably completely sell the Dallas Mavericks. And who knows where they go from there. But this ties into the political realm, because you may start seeing a little bit more spending coming from the Las Vegas Sands Corp now that they're going to be a majority owner of the Dallas Mavericks. You know they're going to want a casino in Dallas. You know they're going to be pushing hard for for that to happen. And as long as Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick is around, I'm not sure it will happen. Not sure that it will. Story out of the Houston Chronicle. Another spotlight on Texas business story. Port of Galveston giving thanks for a thriving cruise industry. Port of Galveston winding down a blockbuster 2023, poised for even greater success next year. Port has a $72.5 million budget, projects a 12% revenue increase next year, largely due to the cruise industry growth as well as increases in dockage and real estate fees. So we're going to be adding on to the pier down there and adding on to the Port of Galveston, making big money thanks to the cruise industry that has been absolutely roaring back. And then finally, this story out of KCBD this weekend. Local market specialists calling the current cotton market weak as the price of the crop falls. This can impact South Plains producers' futures. Darren Hudson, Larry Combest, endowed chair for the Agriculture Competitiveness in Texas Tech, said hit a contract high with cotton prices months ago with a price of 82 cents. As of late November, it was trading in the mid-70s. Quote, significant drop from where we were, but it's holding steady at this point. Historically, Hudson said mid-70s are good for cotton, but producers experiencing high input costs, making that price inadequate. Quote, when we look at 77 cents future price, it's probably around 72 cent local cash price. 72 cent local cash price is below the cost of production. Says the future price can create a headache for the 2024 crop as farmers make plans on what is best for them. Well, we have to think about what the potential crop value is going to be when they start making decisions about planting next spring. And the future price sets insurance price, meaning the mid-70s range. Another loss would be even harder on South Plains producers. If they have a crop loss again next summer, it would be worth even less. And from KCBD, if you want to read more on that. Your spotlight on Texas business brought to you by Texas Mutual Insurance. Texas safe, Texas strong, TexasMutual.com. When we come back, your phone calls, your text messages, what do you love to learn about? What is something you really enjoy learning about? We're taking your text messages, your phone calls, and more here on the Chad Hasty Show.
Clay Travis and Buck Sexton.
Thursday edition Clay Travis Buck Sexton Show will break down the upcoming Gavin Newsom versus Ron DeSantis debate on Fox News. What do we expect to hear? Plus, continued fallout of the hostage release in Israel, and what in the world is going to end up happening with the Republican primary as we sit 1 month away. That'll be the Thursday edition, Clay and Buck.
Clay Travis and Buck Sexton, tomorrow morning at 11.
Speeding tickets aren't cheap, and they can make your insurance rates go up too. So if you don't remember anything else from this commercial, remember this: slow down or pay up. Also, if law enforcement pulls you over for speeding, they'll check your license and registration. So be ready for that. Basically, if you ever wonder if speeding is worth it, the answer is pretty obvious. No way. Speeding is dangerous and expensive. So slow down or pay up. Be safe, drive smart. A message from TxDOT.
The Chad Hasty Show brought to you by... All right, welcome back to the Chad Hasty Show. A text earlier saying comic books have a rating on them. It's amazing how we can put ratings on everything, but books that are supposed to be in school libraries, no, that violates constitutional rights of the authors. Robin Abilene, early American history, something that he loves learning more about. The more I learn, the more I know God had his hand in making the best country in the world. Let's see. Another texter. Robert in Oklahoma would love to see Donald Trump in a Black Lives Matter shirt or a Black Votes Matter BVM shirt. Yeah. That'd be something. That would set the left's hair on fire. Absolutely. Dallas Morning News reporting lower speed limits coming to some Texas highways as state works to reduce traffic deaths. Prompted by safety concerns, state officials reducing speed limits on several highways in southeast Texas. The Texas Department of Transportation will reduce the speed limit by 5 to 10 miles per hour around Beaumont, Port Arthur, following extensive speed zone studies. Planners took into account the number of crashes in recent years and the width of highway shoulders, the number of driveways along roadways, and setting new limits. Agency spokesperson said new signs should be installed in the coming weeks along stretches of highways 87 and 347, US 69, and I-10. The reduction is part of a statewide effort to reduce the number of serious fatal crashes across Texas. In 2022, more than 4,400 people died. Nearly 19,000 were seriously injured in crashes on Texas roads. Since 2000, more than 83,000 people have died in Texas crashes. So they're going to reduce the speed limit in some of these places. Under Texas law, the max speed limit is 70 miles an hour. But the Texas Transportation Commission can increase it to 75, 80, or 85. The Transportation Department deems the highway can safely accommodate higher speeds. Texas is home to the fastest posted speed limit in the country, 85 miles an hour, along a 41-mile stretch of State Highway 130 between State Highway 45 and Austin. I love it, by the way. I've been on that highway. It's fantastic. Love going 85 miles an hour legally. Maybe a little bit faster than 85 miles an hour legally. I think we need to bump up speed limits. I don't think we need to bump them down. I think we need to bump up the speed limits. I got places to go. Reducing the speed limit. We already got enough slowpokes on the road. And I'm convinced that it's a lot of the slowpokes who are causing problems. We got that. You got people who are falling asleep, crossing the median and slamming into people. Those are some of the most horrific crashes. When you have people who fall asleep and they go across the median and hit head first into somebody. I mean, you've got your drunk drivers out there, which there's just absolutely no excuse to drive drunk. I mean, just absolutely none. But some of the most horrific, terrible, absolutely terrible crashes have been when someone falls asleep on a long stretch, and it doesn't matter how fast you're going. I mean, if you fall asleep, your car is out of control at that point. You can speed up, slow down, and you're going to crash into somebody. Very, very, very dangerous. So, I don't know. They can reduce the speed, and they're probably not going to reduce it to like 20 miles an hour. They'll reduce it a little bit. I don't know if it'll really have that much of an impact on things. Another texter saying Texas history, best subject in high school. Maybe that's something that you still love learning about is Texas history. That's one of the things that I still love. That love learning about and finding new information on. Some of the different battles that you had in Texas, some of the different forts. That's why we did that. Did the interviews with forts a couple of summers ago. We're going to do that again this next year. But there's just so much history in this state, so much history just throughout the world to go back and learn. I'm a student of history. I love learning history, the history of our nation, the history of other nations. It's very interesting. Same texture. Everybody goes 90 on that stretch of road where it's 85. Yeah, that's probably true. Everybody's going fast. You don't get a lot of slow pokes on the 85 mile an hour road. That's something that does not happen. They'll stay away from that one. 806-680-2790. You can get in. Let's see. They're going to change the some of these speed limits. Let's see. 87 from West Port Arthur to Sabine Pass will change from 65 to 55. Oh, that's terrible. It's like I'm driving to New Mexico. You ever drive through New Mexico? Oh, it's awful. They have awful roads in New Mexico. They're terrible. And you have to go so slow. Oh, it's terrible. We don't need to be like New Mexico, trust me. Sorry, New Mexico listeners. You know where I'm coming from. We'll be right back.
The Chad Hasty Show, a presentation of the Texas Town Square Media Network. The views and opinions expressed during the Chad Hasty Show are not necessarily the views of this station staff, management, advertisers, or Town Square Media.
The Chad Hasty Show brought to you by...
Broadcasting from the great state of Texas, this is the Chad Hasty Show. News and views with a Lone Star perspective. You can sound off during the show by sending Chad a text at 806-680-2790. That's 806-680-2790. Or call in at 1-800-687-0790. Now, here's Chad Hasty.
Welcome back to the Chad Hasty Show. Final hour of the program. Sun is setting nicely outside. Darkness has fallen over Lubbock. Christmas lights are on. By the way, if just in case you don't know, 26 days until Christmas, 97 days until the Texas primary and Super Tuesday, 47 days until the Iowa caucus. So we are counting down here on the program. Again, 26 days until Christmas. Nick, are you excited about Christmas this year? Now, do you have lights up on the house, or do you have do y'all have Christmas decor up? What do you do at your house for Christmas?
We do have decor up.
Yes.
Just inside, just in the living room.
The stockings are hung?
So I tried to hang the stockings with tape because that's all we had. There was nowhere else to put them. I couldn't put them. We've done it on the wall before.
Do you not have a mantle? You don't have a mantle over the...
No, we don't have a mantle. No,
okay.
no.
You fancy people out there with your mantles over your fireplace. Do you have a fireplace?
We don't have a fireplace.
You don't?
No.
Okay. Well, yeah. See, now you need to go get...
A fireplace?
No. Like one of those fake fireplaces that also give out a little bit of heat. Those are nice.
We've had to make do. We have an entertainment stand. It's a very small entertainment stand.
Yes.
Very short.
Yes.
It holds the TV.
Okay.
And so what we had like those, they sell those like weights, with a hook.
Uh-huh.
So you position them at the end of a table or the entertainment stand, whatever you have in your living room.
Yeah.
And then you hook the stockings on. You hook the stockings so that you don't have to buy a fireplace.
Here's what I'm going to do.
Yep.
I'm going to bring you a couple of they're really cool. Okay, they're called the Command
strips.
Yes, and you take these little hangers, okay, and you can put them up on your wall. You can do whatever, and it won't mess with the paint. It won't mess with anything. and you can put your little stocking right there.
We could do that.
You could do that.
I'm very happy with what we have now, which is
duct tape stockings.
No, it's masking tape. First of all, our situation right now is we have our stockings currently in a pile. I don't know where. They're on a table somewhere with the old tape still stuck to them. So the tape didn't come off of them. They de-taped from wherever they were. So they're just in a pile right now with old tape stuck to them.
Is this old tape from last year?
I think there's one or two pieces from last year as well.
Okay.
So, they're out.
Yeah.
We decorated. We took the stockings out of storage.
Right.
They're in a pile on a table with tape on them. But
That's good.
They're out.
You're halfway there.
Go.
You're halfway there. Yeah.
Exactly. I did try. I tried to tape it, and then literally that day, we hear.
Yeah.
And then we look, and there's big red socks on the floor. Yeah. But maybe next year we'll figure something out.
Just get the little command strips, and you can hang them up.
We have a big bucket of command strips. It's like batteries or like a junk drawer.
Right.
You just gather command strips. So
do you have the hooks?
We have plenty. We have all different shapes and sizes of hooks. Yeah, we could do it.
It takes 30 seconds max to put those up.
Right, but we don't really do anything with the stockings. We don't put anything in the stockings.
They're just there. They're just there to look at.
Exactly. So why not just look at them stacked on top of each other?
Here's what I want you to do with the stocking, okay?
Yeah.
I want you to grab the stocking and just crumple up the stocking and throw it right there on the floor. And say, that's what I think about you, stocking. Let the dog play with the stocking.
Okay, that's a better thing. Yeah, because it's hard to crumple fabric, but you're right.
Oh, maybe, you can. Trust me.
You know what I can do? We can stuff it with like newspaper and plastic bottles.
Plastic bottle. The dog would love that.
Exactly. We have 2 dogs.
The dogs
would
go
crazy.
Love it. Yes.
Exactly.
Wadded up my piece of paper for the show.
Yeah, there you go. You committed a little too far for that one.
Smooth that one out.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we'll have to talk about the lack of stockings being hung.
Next year, I promise we will. We'll do something.
Yeah. Do y'all have a tree?
We do.
Okay.
It's a sad Charlie Brown-esque tree.
That's fine.
But it's tall.
Okay.
It's taller than me.
So it's a tall tree, but
very thin. Very thin tree.
Do the dogs eat the branches? What happened?
Not. So it's fake.
Okay. Well, of course, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And the dogs do not. We've already put ornaments on it. We've decorated it.
Wow.
The dogs, they don't care. They know it's Christmas time. They're fine with all the decorations up. They keep knocking. We have a little porcelain bird. Christmas. They keep knocking that over. So we've had to glue that over and over. So we have this Frankenstein bird that's become part of our Christmas decorations, but they don't care. They leave it all alone.
Well, that's good. You got to send me a picture of the sad-looking tree that you have.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I was going to say, I named quite a few of fun things we have. I don't know what one you're talking about, but I'll send you
the sad tree.
For the bonus, I'll send you a photo of the sad stockings, too.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah.
We could just make that part of your ugly Christmas sweater.
Well, I'll pose with the stockings behind me.
That should be your ugly Christmas sweater, are the stockings
fashioned
just attached to your sweater. We'll take a picture of that, and we'll put that on the Chad Hasty Show Christmas card that we send to the other radio shows.
But just for the producers. It's just of the producers.
It's just of the producers,
right.
The radio host, we're never in the photo.
No, because why would you?
No, we don't want to be in the photo.
It's signed from you, of course.
Yes, absolutely.
But it's our likeness.
Yeah.
Our producers'
Well,
likeness.
we put the producers have to wear ugly Christmas sweaters.
Sure.
And we send them out. We laugh at the producers. We all get a chuck. And then we're on the group text that we're all on. We'll text each other. That was a really ugly Christmas sweater.
Good one. You really got him that year.
Yeah, you got him that year. And so it's all part of the group text that we're on.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. Why we're actually on a group text and sending Christmas cards to each other? Basically just to humiliate the producers of the shows.
Right. Hey, did you get that? Did you get my card?
Yeah.
What a loser. He didn't even hang his stockings right.
Right. Like, that's how he hangs his stockings. That's it.
Yeah.
And then you can go. And now get this, okay? I'm helping you out here, okay? Because you can attach the stockings to your sweater. Then you grab a hanger and you hang up your sweater. and you got the stockings already attached.
Okay.
So they're hung.
I see where you're going.
You see where I'm going here?
The thing is, where am I going to hang the hanger, though? Is it just going to be stockings in the closet?
Yeah, just throw the stockings in the closet. What do you care?
It's that kind of year, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely.
Stockings in the closet.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
806-680-2790. You can send in your thoughts on the text line. Today we're also finding out what else you love to learn. Maybe you like to learn about Nick's stockings. There you go. You just learned something. But we've had people text in. They love to learn more about Texas history. They love to learn more about we had one texter who said love to learn more about the medieval era. Let's see, another texter weighing in. I love to learn more about the ocean. That thing is creepy. I'm with you on that. I'm a big ocean guy. I love the ocean. But anytime I can find just shipwrecks, old shipwrecks, things that have been found in the ocean, new discoveries, I'm all in. Love it. I think it's very, very interesting. Another texter says, sorry, Chad, I'm 77 years old, and 70 miles per hour is blazing speed for me, so I usually cruise around 65 on the far right lane. See, but you're doing it right. You're in the far right lane. You're enjoying life. You're cruising. You're good. He said, hell, it's not half full, so everyone can go 80 or faster if they want to gamble their lives and their family. Now, see, not everyone going 80 is gambling their lives. They need to go somewhere. They need to be somewhere. And I'm not advocating 80. I'm just, maybe occasionally I've gone 80. Maybe that's happened. Not normally on the loop. It depends. 806-680-2790. When we come back, your phone calls, your text messages, and more.
The Chad Hasty Show can be heard all over West Texas, weekdays from 5 to 7 p.m. Tune in on News Talk 95.1 and 790 KFYO in Lubbock, News Talk 940 in Amarillo, News Talk 94.7 and 1470 KYYW in Abilene, and in Wichita Falls on News Talk 96.3 and 1290. The Chad Hasty Show. Make it a part of your drive home, weekdays from 5 to 7 p.m.
Clay Travis and Buck Sexton.
Thursday edition Clay Travis Buck Sexton Show will break down the upcoming Gavin Newsom versus Ron DeSantis debate on Fox News. What do we expect to hear? Plus, continued fallout of the hostage release in Israel, and what in the world is going to end up happening with the Republican primary as we sit 1 month away. That'll be the Thursday edition, Clay and Buck.
Clay Travis and Buck Sexton, tomorrow morning at 11. News sponsored by...
All right, welcome back to the Chad Hasty Show. Mark in California weighing in on the text line. I'm 61, and 85 miles an hour sounds awesome. Anything under 70 feels like crawling. Now, that is so true. Looking at you, New Mexico. Looking at you. 806-680-2790. That's 806-680-2790. A few different stories out there. Joe Biden attacking Trump, treating him as the de facto Republican nominee, which he is. It's from MSN and Bloomberg. President Joe Biden directly targeted Donald Trump at a campaign event Tuesday, treating him as the nominee, warning of the consequences for voters if his political rival returns to the White House. Quote, Trump and the extreme MAGA Republicans are determined to destroy American democracy, Biden said at a fundraiser in Colorado. The choice facing us cannot be more stark. Biden repeatedly assailed Trump over a number of policies, including his calls to repeal Obamacare and his support for abortion restrictions, as well as political rhetoric. Quote, if Trump gets his way, it's all gone, Biden said about the health care benefits for Obamacare, seizing on Trump's threat to undo the Affordable Care Act as the law is formally known. Biden noted Republicans have repeatedly failed to repeal it, and they controlled both chambers of Congress, and said Trump's actions would throw 40 million Americans off health coverage they obtained under the law. The president also hit Trump over the slew of restrictions on abortion. And that's going to be one of the big things that Democrats are going to use. And Democrats are going to go after Republicans on. Whoever the Republican nominee, they think that abortion is going to be the winning argument. Because they have nothing else, by the way. Trump's a threat to democracy. Trump's going to be the... And by the way, whoever the Republican nominee is, if it weren't Trump, if it were Nikki Haley or Ron DeSantis, they would be the threat to American democracy, according to the left and the newspapers and the media and Joe Biden. And the evil MAGA people. You're the biggest threat. So it doesn't matter. They're going to say that the Republicans are the big threat to democracy when we know that it's the Democrats who are the biggest threat. Just look at what's been going on. Look at the wholesale change that Democrats want for this nation. And it's not the Republicans who want to end democracy. It's the Democrats. The Democrats want to get rid of everything associated with this nation. We see it time and again, example after example. And Joe has nothing to run on, by the way, except to try and scare people that the orange guy is going to come in and wreak havoc on the economy, on the nation, and on the world. When it's actually Joe who's been doing that. Things haven't gotten any better under Joe Biden. Things have gotten extremely worse under Joe Biden. The world on fire. That didn't happen under Donald Trump. It's happening under Joe. 806-680-2790. Had a texter asking earlier if there were going to be any debates between Joe Biden and Donald Trump if Trump is indeed the nominee. I would say if Biden's the nominee. There was an article that came out earlier about this very issue, saying that this could be that there could be a big push not to have any debates. I think if you're Trump, you want to have debates with Joe Biden. If you're Joe, you probably don't want to debate Trump. The Hill with an opinion piece, presidential debates may not happen in 2024. The Commission on Presidential Debates announced forthcoming slate of debate sites for the presidential election in 2024. Since 1976, there have been consistent televised presidential debates in the United States, originally broadcasted, conducted by the League of Women Voters. Commission on Presidential Debates took over the sponsorship and organization of the debates back in 1987. But the Democrats and the Republican National Committees have refused to commit to the proposed debates of 2024 that are supposed to begin in San Marcos next October. Serious problems in the last several events may prevent the necessary parties from agreeing to debates that are typically viewed by 50 to 100 million Americans. One of the most serious problems faced by the CPD event is the moderators. Journalist moderators have been chosen for these debates for decades. The problem with moderators are twofold. First, journalists have come to occupy a prominent argumentative position in the debates. In the 1990s, journalist moderators would occupy roughly 5% of the speaking time. In the most recent series, moderator Chris Wallace consumed more than 25% of the speaking time. And that is an issue. Ask your question and then shut up. The piece from The Hill goes on, there are no established limits for the moderator monologues about politics to which candidates are expected to respond. Secondly, moderators indicate a pattern of favoritism towards the Democrat nominee. And that is an issue. Hell, it's been an issue during the Republican debates, where the Republicans have been using Democrats, a Democrat so-called journalist, to ask questions in the Republican primary. I'm telling you, there is a way around this. There is a way to maneuver around this, and it's by shaking things up a little bit in who the moderators are. You know, the people like Brett Baer. I'm fine with Brett Baer doing moderating one of these debates. I'm fine with that. But we don't need a panel of three people. We don't need questions asked by the audience. We don't need a question being asked by some kid who probably won't vote anyway, who's on video. We don't need any of that. We don't need the question, what do you really like about the other person? We don't need those type of questions. You want to have a fair debate. You want to have a fair moderating panel. Okay, fine. Here's how you do it. You go and grab somebody from talk radio, somebody who is a known right-wing voice. Doesn't even have to be radio. You can pick somebody who's a podcaster. You can pick somebody who is a writer. And then go to MSNBC, CNN, the New York Times, etc., and pick a so-called journalist from there and let those two ask the questions if you really want to have something that looks fair. That's how you can do it. Or just find somebody who is a true independent type of person, like a Joe Rogan. Rogan's all over the damn place. Get him to ask a couple of questions. But instead, what they do is they keep going back to the same people over and over and over again because they're supposed to be the so-called trusted voices of the news. Guess what? Go look at polls. They're not trusted. People in the news media are not trusted. When we come back, your phone calls, your text messages, and much more.
The Chad Hasty Show, weekdays 5 to 7 p.m. Sound off during the show by sending Chad a text at 806-680-2790. Today's markets from the Texas Department of Ag.
Well, howdy, neighbors. Texas feeder catalogs were kind of all over the place. Some were $8 lower, some were $10 higher. Cattle futures were up. December live cattle futures up 25 to close at 171.90. January feeder cattle futures up $1.15, closed at $222.20. December cotton futures were down, closed at $78.59. December wheat futures up 27 cents, closed at $6.40 a bushel. December corn down a couple of pennies to close at $4.49. January soybean futures up a penny, closed at $13.47 a bushel. December soybean meal futures down $6, closed at $444.30 per ton. December Class V milk futures down 11 cents, closed at $16.11 a hundred. January crude oil futures up $1.45 to close at $77.86 per barrel, and the Dow Jones was up 7 points, closed at 35,424. And that's a market roundup from the Texas Department of Agriculture. I'm your commissioner, Sid Miller. Sold. And remember, friends, have a Merry Christmas.
News on KFY.
News and talk of West Texas. News Talk 95.1 and 790 KFYO. Chad Hasty, talking the news. At the start, middle, and end of your drive home, and when news breaks. This is the Chad Hasty Show.
All right, welcome back to the Chad HD Show. So tomorrow in Georgia, Governors Gavin Newsom and Ron DeSantis will take the stage in a pretty interesting little debate that's going to be taking place. Televised event will highlight the different styles of governance of the two coastal states. Fox News hosting the event, which is dubbed DeSantis versus Newsom, the Great Red versus Blue State debate. Sean Hannity will be moderating the debate. It'll be a 90-minute debate. And afterwards, Hannity will host a 30-minute reaction roundtable with different panelists. Now, those of you out there who maybe you're interested in Ron DeSantis, maybe you're not, I don't know. Maybe you're like me, you're a political nerd. Are you at all interested in this debate that's going to be happening tomorrow night? Is there anything about this debate that interests you? Anything that makes you go, oh, I've got to tune in, I've got to watch that debate. I've got to see Ron DeSantis versus Gavin Newsom. Now, Gavin Newsom has really set himself up to be the break glass in case of emergency presidential candidate. Someone who I think is still positioning himself to be the guy if Joe decides not to run or can't run. And he's also setting himself up nicely for 2028 no matter what. For Ron DeSantis, he's hoping that this will somehow propel him in Iowa, which again, the Iowa caucuses coming up pretty quickly, 47 days. Tomorrow it'll be 46 days until the Iowa caucus. It's not very long when you factor in Christmas and the fact that most people will really stop paying attention to the world of politics pretty quickly as they focus in on getting Christmas shopping done and getting Christmas together, traveling, getting everything ready for Christmas morning. A lot of people who will be paying attention to other things. And so tomorrow night is one of the last times that people around the nation will be able to hear from Ron DeSantis before the Iowa caucus. Now, I know there's another presidential debate, but that's going to be, I think, a very, very low-watched debate unless Trump decides to show up. But there's also a risk here for Ron DeSantis. Gavin Newsom is not a stupid guy. Gavin Newsom is not a dumb guy. Now, I don't like his politics, but he's not a stupid guy. And what happens if Gavin Newsom wins the debate? Now, again, you may not like the policies that Gavin Newsom puts out there, but if Gavin Newsom is able to articulate things better than Ron DeSantis, and Ron DeSantis has had a lot of prep, he's had a lot of debates, he should be good to go, but Ron DeSantis, in my opinion, is not that great of a debater. Whenever he finishes a line, he kind of has this weird look of, oh yeah, they got a smile now. It's a very weird thing to see with Ron DeSantis. He's not that good at debates. He's good at getting out a message. But we really haven't seen him in a one-on-one debate. We haven't seen him go really up against somebody even in the sort of these fights with Nikki Haley or Chris Christie, you really haven't seen that fight. You've seen good statements being made by Ron DeSantis, but that's really about it. There is a risk here. If Ron DeSantis doesn't do well, his campaign is over, and any shot that he has in 2028 may be over as well. Mark out in California says, I'm a citizen of California. I avoid hearing them at every opportunity. I have no interest in this event. Another texter, no, I would not watch the debate. Yes to your debate question, but just for DeSantis debating practice to sharpen his 2028 run. And hopefully that's how it comes across. I hope DeSantis does well, but I think it's a risk with no real upside here. He's not going to get a good, even if he decimates Gavin Newsom. If Ron DeSantis just comes across as this very, very powerful figure, very smart guy. I mean, again, we're not going to agree with Gavin Newsom on his politics. We know that. But if afterwards on Fox, or even just among those who are watching, if they go, Ron DeSantis, he wasn't on tonight. He didn't have a good night. It could really hurt him going into 2028. And it could really propel someone like Gavin Newsom, who you're giving a national stage to for really no reason at all. Another texter, don't need to watch this. I've been watching both of them for several years now. And I don't think a lot of people will be watching. The debate will be about Hannity. And you think Hannity's going to make it all about himself? I guess it's possible. My hope is that Hannity will get the hell out of the way. He'll ask a question and then let the two really duke it out. That's a debate I want to see. I want to see a real debate. I don't want campaign slogans. I don't want 30-second answers. I want, hey, you know what? We're going to throw one issue out there. Let you guys go at it for about 30 minutes. Go. Let you guys really talk policy. Most of these folks probably couldn't do it. But I'd love to see that's a real debate. So I'm hoping tomorrow night Hannity will just get out of the way, ask the question, and let these two governors duke it out on stage. I don't know. I think it's a little risky for Ron DeSantis without much of an upside at all. Most of the upside really does go along with Gavin Newsom. And here's the deal about Newsom. And why it's very smart for Newsom. If Newsom comes across as quote-unquote competent, if Newsom comes across as, Democrats who are watching, if any Democrats watch, if Democrats who are watching go, well, we kind of like this guy. We kind of like this guy. This guy could get some stuff done in the United States. I mean, there's a very good chance Gavin Newsom will talk about his working relationship with Trump during the pandemic, which he said was great. There's a good chance that Gavin Newsom brings about some, buyer's remorse when it comes to Joe Biden. And it may put more pressure on Joe to drop out. So again, all the upside here seems like to me, is with Gavin Newsom. Greg in Missouri weighing in. I will definitely be watching the debate. I do work in both Florida and California. The project I do in Florida may cost $100,000. The same job in California would cost $250,000. Another texter, it's a waste of time. Hey, if people are tuning in for it, for Hannity, it won't be a waste of time. Ken in Lubbock says, I'm 60 years old with Warren back. I still love learning about my lifelong trade of welding and fabrication. So that's great. You love what you do. You love what you've done. That's fantastic. 806-680-2790. When we come back, your phone calls and your texts as we begin to wrap up a Wednesday edition of the Chad Hasty Show.
Texas Mutual Insurance Company is doing more for the safety of your business. And this year, we're celebrating 25 years of our one-of-a-kind dividend program. The Texas Mutual Board of Directors has approved a historical $340 million dividend distribution this year alone, giving more money back to Texas businesses and helping keep more Texans on the job. When you choose Texas Mutual Workers' Comp Insurance and prioritize safety through initiatives like training and return-to-work programs, you can earn dividends for your business. You work hard to keep your people safe, and we think sharing our mission of building safer workplaces is worth rewarding. Our dividend program puts more back into the pockets of policyholders like you. Dividends that can be reinvested into rewarding your people and contributing to many years of success for business. Learn more about how you can earn dividends at texasmutual.com/dividends. While Texas Mutual has paid dividends for 25 years, dividends are based on performance and are not guaranteed.
Join Moments of Inspiration.
All right, welcome back to the Chad Hasty Show. Mark saying maybe Hannity should debate Whoopi Goldberg. That wouldn't even be close. That would be terrible. Let's see. Texture. I guess he's saying they want Nikki Haley to beat Ron DeSantis. I won't ever vote for her. I'll write in Trump or DeSantis. We don't need a Jeb Bush. I don't know if you're meeting in the Republican primary or in a general election, you wouldn't ever vote for her. But if she's the nominee, you better vote for her. She's going to be better than any Democrat they put up there. That's why we have the primaries, though. That's why we have primaries. Listen, Ron DeSantis he's not done a good job expanding his reach. Is it because Donald Trump does suck all the air out of the room? You know, we've been pretending that Trump is not out there. Trump's out there. He's dominating. He's, you know, as much as people like to say that, oh, Nikki Haley is, you know, now she's got the support of AFP and they're going to, you know, use all this money. She's still down 50 points to Donald Trump. She's still down 50 to 60 behind Donald Trump. So it's not like she's right there. I think there are some in the news media that want people to assume that she's right there. She's just on the cusp of breaking through. She's not. Just like Ron DeSantis has never been on the cusp of breaking through, it's been all about Trump. And unless something major happens, Trump is going to be the nominee. And the Never Trumpers, they're going to have to get over it. They're going to have to deal with it. And those who sat on the sidelines and said, "Oh, I just can't do it. I can't vote for Trump. I can't do it. I can't vote for Trump." If you're going to listen to Liz Cheney and you're going to listen to Mitt Romney, then you deserve what you get, which is Joe Biden. But the country overall does not deserve Joe Biden. We don't deserve Joe. We deserve a hell of a lot better. And we need to fix this country. We need to get this country back on track. And it's going to take a Republican president who's going to do that. The Democrats want to, again, fundamentally change this nation. That's what their goal is. They want to destroy this country. We see fires breaking out all across the world. And you want Joe to win re-election? No, thank you. So again, the Donald Trump's going to be the nominee unless something major happens, something that we haven't seen yet. Unless something major happens, Trump is going to be the nominee. And if you look at where the trends are going right now, there was another one out today, new survey focused on the personal traits of the two candidates. Leading challengers in the primary and caucus polls, Trump topped Biden when it comes to leadership, mental soundness, and health. 54% believe Joe's too old to run, want him to quit after one term. 68% believe the country's heading in the wrong direction. 54% said Trump is in good health. 35% surveyed said Biden's health was good enough to serve. It's big. That's when it comes to leadership, Trump over Biden, 51% to 40%. It's good news for Trump. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Follow me on social media at Chad HD Radio. Stay safe, stay healthy. God bless you all. We'll see you back here tomorrow at 5 p.m.
The Chad Hasty Show, a presentation of the Texas Town Square Media Network. The views and opinions expressed during the Chad Hasty Show are not necessarily the views of this station staff, management, advertisers, or Town Square Media.
This is Jerry Reynolds. Join me in